So in that we are going to discuss about the unit 7, that is digestive system, and in the last class we have seen about the stomach, that is part 1, and now we are going to discuss about the part 2 about the stomach. So part 2 it includes the external features. So in the part 1 we have seen up to the structure of the stomach. So next is the external features of the stomach. So in the stomach it includes the two surfaces and the two curvature and two orifice and two curvature and the two surfaces. So the two orifice it includes the cardiac orifice and the pyloric orifice. So the cardiac orifice is joined by the lower end of the esophagus. So the cardiac orifice it can be situated at the end of the lower end of the esophagus. So at the end of the esophagus there is a orifice, it is called as cardiac orifice, and the pyloric orifice it can be opened into a duodenum. So at the region of the duodenum and the stomach, and there is a orifice can be situated, that is called as pyloric orifice. So the pyloric orifice it can be prevents the backflow of the food. So the large particles or indigestion food it can be prevented backflow of the food into the stomach by the pyloric orifice. So there is a two orifice, it includes the cardiac orifice and the pyloric orifice. So the cardiac orifice can be situated at the lower end of the esophagus, and there is a pyloric orifice, it can be opened into the duodenum. So and by the stomach into the duodenum, the food particles can be enter into the duodenum from the stomach by the pyloric orifice. And next one is the two curvatures. So the two curvatures includes the lesser curvature and the greater curvature, which are situated in the stomach, and these are also part of the stomach. So first one is the lesser curvature. So it is become concave. So the concave means there is it is like concave shape. So it is concave shape. So the lesser curvature is become concave and form the right border of the stomach. So the right side of the stomach can be formed by the lesser curvature. So it is become concave. Concave means it is like this shape and it is concave shape. And the next one is the greater curvature. So the greater curvature is become convex. So it is become convex shape. So it is convex and it is concave shape. So the greater curvature is become convex and forms the left border of the stomach. So the right border of the stomach can be formed by the lesser curvature, and the left border of the stomach can be formed by the greater curvature. So these two curvatures can be included in the stomach. And next one is the two surfaces. So the two surfaces includes the anterior surface and the posterior surface. So the anterior surface face forward and the upward. So the anterior surface is become anteriorly face forward. So the front part of the stomach it is called as anterior surface, and the posterior surface backward and the downward. So the back side of the stomach and the downward of the stomach it is called as posterior surface. So there is a two surfaces, it includes the anterior surface and the posterior surface. So anterior surface, the front part of the stomach, and the upward part of the stomach it is called as anterior surface, and the posterior surface there is a back side of the stomach, and the lower part of the stomach it is called as posterior surface. And the next one is the parts of the stomach. So the parts of the stomach it includes the cardiac part and the pyloric part. So the parts of the stomach it includes the two parts, the cardiac part and the pyloric part. So in the cardiac part it is subdivided into fundus and body. So the cardiac part is the stomach can be divided into the fundus and body. So there is a stomach, it includes the three parts, the fundus and the body and the pyloric antrum. So the fundus and the body, and it is the cardiac part. So the fundus is upper convex dome shaped part. So the cardiac sphincter, the cardiac part, it is become convex. So it is become convex and dome shaped. So it is like dome shape. It is the dome shape, and the cardiac part is become dome shaped part, and in the cardiac part the fundus and body of the stomach can be included in the cardiac part. So next one is the pyloric part. So the body of the stomach lies between the fundus and the pyloric antrum. So the upper part of the stomach, it is called as fundus, and the body, it is become body of the stomach, it can be situated between the fundus and the pyloric antrum, it is called as body of the stomach. And the next one is the pyloric antrum. So the pyloric antrum at the end of the stomach. So distal part of the stomach, it is called as pyloric antrum. And the gastric glands distributed in the fundus and stomach contains three types of secretory cells. So in the stomach there is a gastric glands can be situated. So by this glands there is a secretory cells can be secreted by the gastric glands. So the secretory cells, it includes the mucous cells and the chief cells and the axinitic cells. So the axinitic cells and the chief cells and the mucous cells, it can be secreted by the gastric glands and it can be distributed in the stomach. So by these cells, and it helps in the secretion of the hydrochloric acid in the stomach. So these chief cells and the mucous cells and the axinitic cells can be release the hydrochloric acid and in the stomach. So this is about the cardiac part, and the next one is the cardiac sphincter. So next one is the cardiac sphincter. So the sphincters, it is the valve. So sphincter means it is a opening and it can be opened or closed during the physical functioning of the part. And there is a cardiac sphincter. So it is the wall between the distal end of the esophagus and the stomach. So the cardiac sphincter, it is become valve and it can be situated between the distal end of the esophagus and the stomach. So the distal end of the esophagus and the stomach, between this the cardiac sphincter can be situated, and it helps to backflow of the, it helps to prevent of the backflow of materials so into the esophagus. So the cardiac sphincter, it helps to the, it can be situated, located between the distal end of the esophagus and the stomach. So by the cardiac sphincter, it can be helps to prevent the backflow of the food materials into the esophagus. So next one is the pyloric sphincter. So the pyloric sphincter can be divided into the two parts. It includes the pyloric antrum and the pyloric canal. So the pyloric antrum is separated from the pyloric canal. So the pyloric canal by an instant sulcus intermedius. So it is sulcus intermedius, it is like a fissure and it can be present in the particular age group, and after that it can be disappear. So it is become fissure and it can be present at the particular age and it can be disappear after the sometime. So it mostly present at the adult age, and the pyloric antrum is separated from the pyloric canal and it is about 7 centimeters long. So the pyloric antrum can be situated at the end of the stomach, and it can be separates the stomach and the duodenum by the pyloric antrum. So from the stomach, the digested food can be enter into the duodenum by the pyloric antrum. So the pyloric antrum is become 7 centimeters long, and next one is the pyloric canal. So the pyloric canal is 2.5 centimeters long and it is become narrow and it is tube-like structure. So the pyloric canal, it is become 2.5 centimeters long and it is narrow and it is become tubular. Next one is the pyloric sphincter. So the pyloric sphincter, the muscles of the pylorus that separates the stomach from the duodenum. So the pylorus means it is a become opening. So it is become like hole, and by this the muscles of pylorus that separates the stomach from the duodenum. So the pyloric sphincter, it can be separates the stomach from the duodenum and it prevents the regurgitation of the food into the stomach. So by this pyloric sphincter, it can be helps in the prevention of the regurgitation. So it is become backflow of the food materials into the stomach. So it can be prevented by the pyloric sphincter. And the next one is gastric juices. So the gastric juices, it can be secreted by the gastric glands which are situated in the stomach. So the gastric juices, the action of the gastric juice is become highly acidic and it is become, gastric juice is become highly acidic and the pH is 0.9 to 1.2 and the specific gravity is 1.00 to 1.004. So the daily the gastric juice is secreted by the gastric glands, it is 2.5 to 3 liters. So daily the gastric juices can be secreted by the gastric glands in the stomach, that is 2.5 to 3 liters per day. So the gastric juices can be really secreted daily 2.5 to 3 liters daily by the gastric glands. So it is about the gastric juice. And the next one is the composition of the gastric juice. So what are the compositions, what are the things can be involved in the gastric juice? It includes the water. So the gastric juice contains the water, it is 99.5 percentage. The gastric juice consists of water and the solids can be 0.5 percentage. So the 0.5 percentage of solids can be involved in the, it can be present in the gastric juice, and the 99.5 percentage water can be present in the gastric juices. So in these solids there is a two types of substance can be present. So in this organic substance and the inorganic substance. So organic substance, it is the hydrogen carbon bond can be present. So inorganic substance, there is a lack of carbon bond. So it is inorganic substance, it is a chemical bond. So it is become organic, there is a carbon bond is present. So inorganic, it is a lack of carbon bond, it is a chemical bond. So the organic substance, it includes the pepsin and the gastric lipase and the renin. So renin, it can be mostly present in the animals. And the next one is the urease. So these are all the organic substance which can be present in the gastric juice. And next one is the inorganic substance. It includes the hydrochloric acid and the sodium and calcium and chloride bicarbonates. So these are all the inorganic substance which are present in the gastric juices. So next one is the functions of gastric juice. So the functions, it includes the functions. So the gastric juice can be secreted by the gastric glands. So it can be secretes the mucus and the hydrochloride and the gastrin and the intrinsic factors. So it can be released or the secreted by the gastric glands. So the mucus, it includes the secreted by the cells in the body and the antrum of the stomach. So the mucus can be secreted by the cells which are present in the antrum of the stomach. And the mucus, what it can be do means it can be protects the lining of the stomach from the acid. So the mucus, it can be protect the lining of the stomach. So the stomach, inner layer of the stomach can be protected by the mucus from the acid. So because of the hydrochloric acid, and it can be it can be cause the damage to the layer of the stomach. So it can be prevented by the mucus. So it can be secreted by the antrum of the stomach. So next one is the hydrochloride. So this HCl, it can be helps to kill the bacteria. So because of the acidity, the bacteria can be killed by the HCl, and it kills the bacteria, and it can be transfers the pepsinogen into the pepsin. So there is a HCl, it can be helps in the transfer of the pepsinogen into the pepsin. So it can be transfers the pepsinogen into the pepsin. And the next one is the gastrin. So the gastrin, it can be secreted by the antrum of the stomach. So the gastrin, it can be secreted by the antrum of the stomach. So it helps in the stimulates the secretion of the HCl. So hydrochloric acid, it can be secreted by the gastrin, and it can be helps in the secretion of the HCl. And the next one is the intrinsic factor. So the intrinsic factor, it can be helps in the absorption of the vitamin B12. So the body can be absorbs the vitamin B12 by the intrinsic factor. So the functions of gastric juice, it includes the mucus and the HCl and the gastrin and the intrinsic factor. So the mucus, it protects the lining of the stomach from the acid, and HCl, it kills the bacteria, and it can be transfers the pepsinogen into the pepsin. And the gastrin, it stimulates the secretion of the HCl, and the intrinsic factor, it can be helps in the absorption of the vitamin B12. So it completes the stomach.